Hello students. So students, in the previous class in the chapter that is matter around this pure, we were talking about the properties of that of the solution, suspension and that of the colloid, and we have seen the difference between the three on the basis of their property. Let me recall the properties again with the help of the difference between these three. So if we see that what kind of a nature. So colloid, it is a true solution, it is a homogeneous in nature. Colloids, they are homogeneous, they seem homogeneous but actually they are heterogeneous, and suspension, they are heterogeneous mixture. If we talk about the settling of the particle, so in case of a true solution, the particles they do not settle down when it is left undisturbed for some time. In case of a colloid, the particles again they do not settle down, so it do not settle. Okay, the particles do not get settled down, settling of the particle does not occur. But in case of a suspension, the settling of the particle also occur. What about the size, students? So if you look at the size of the true solution, so it is less than 1 nanometer. While in case of a colloid, it is between 1 nanometer to 100 nanometer. And that of the suspension, it is always more than that of the 100 nanometer. Okay, so we can say that. The colloid is intermediate in the size of the true solution and suspension. Now, if you look at the true solution, it is not possible to see the true solution even with the powerful microscope. In case of a colloid, it is not possible to see it with the naked eyes, but with that of the powerful microscope, we are able to see the colloidal solution, colloidal particles. Suspension can be seen easily. Okay. Now, if you look at that filtration, is it possible to separate them from each other, the solution? So, in case of a true solution, they cannot be separated with the help of the filter paper. In case of the colloidal, yes, it cannot be separated, but it can be separated by the process like that of centrifugation. Okay, so in the colloid, again, it is not possible to separate it with the help of the filter paper. While in case of a suspension, it can be separated with the help of the filter paper. So separation can be done in case of a suspension, but it cannot be done with the help in case of a true solution or colloidal solution. Now, what happens when a beam of a light passes through the true solution? So when a beam of a light passes through the true solution, the particles, they do not scatter the beam of a light. And since no scattering of the light occur, due to which path is not visible in case of the true solution. But in case of the colloidal solution, the Tyndall effect will be shown. It means when the beam of a light passes through the solution, then scattering of the light can take place, and due to which we can say that the colloidal solution shows the Tyndall effect. While in case of a suspension, the particles are quite large, so it is very easy for them to scatter the beam of a light coming towards it. So you see, student, that these are some of the properties on the basis of that we can distinguish between that of the true solution, true colloid, and to that of the suspension from each other. Now, we have seen in case of a mixture. Mixture is what? Basically, mixture is consisting of two or more components, that is mixture. So we have seen here, one is the impure substance, other is a pure substance. Impure is a mixture only in which two or more components are there, and pure is in which the components are separated from each other, and that is why they are pure. So if suppose we want to separate the different component from that of the mixture, so we have to apply the different separating technique for each and every case. So let us start and try to understand that how can we separate the different component from a mixture. Separation of mixture. Okay. question arises that on what basis we are separating the mixture from each other. So you see student, there are particles which differ from each other on the basis of their size. They differ from each other on the basis of their color, on the basis of their shape, on the basis of their physical properties. So we are able to separate them because of having the difference, some kind of a difference is there due to which we are able to separate them from each other. Okay, so we can say that the difference in the physical property, difference in the physical properties of constituents of the physical properties of the constituents is used to separate them from mixture. Okay, is used to separate them from mixture. So you can understand here students that since there is some variation, there is some difference between the two components from each other, and due to which we will say that we are able to separate them from each other. We are able to separate, means this is the basis of the separation of the mixture. Okay. So the various physical properties, various physical process that we use for separating the different component from the mixtures, it can be anything student. It can be evaporation, then condensation, sublimation, then crystallization is also there. So crystallization, separating funnel, chromatography, centrifugation, is there students, distillation, fractional distillation. Okay, so these are some of the process student, various process that we can use for separating the different component of a mixture from each other. Let us start to understand one of them one by one. Here one question is also that which process we are going to use when? Means these are the different kind of a process, but when we are going to use all these kind of a process. Okay, so you see that so here we will consider 3 cases, and on the basis of that 3 cases we are going to use the different kind of a process for separating the mixtures from each other. So we can write it that the 3 cases are what are the three cases student? Mixture of solid and solid. Means what are the process that we are going to use when we are having a mixture and the mixture consisting of both of the components are present, that is a solid one. Okay, so the first one is mixture of 2 solids. Mixture of 2 solids. Next one is mixture of solid and liquid. mixture of two liquids. Okay, so mixture of two solid. How can we separate the mixture of a solid and liquid, and how are we able to separate the two liquids from each other? Okay, so let us start with the first one, that what are the different methods by which we are able to separate the two solids from each other. So generally they are separated either through sublimation or by using a suitable solvent, by adding a suitable solvent in it, as well as we are also able to separate by using a magnet. Okay. See student, why we are writing all this process? First of all, we started with the separating mixture, and then we said that what is a separating mixture. Then we have understood that why there is a need of this, means on what basis we are going to separate them. Okay. Then we have understood here that what are the different processes, okay, which we are going to use. Now the question arises that where we are going to use them. Okay, so we are going to use when we are having a mixture of two solid. We are going to use a process when there is a mixture of a solid and liquid, and we are going to use the different process for when the mixture is having two liquid. Now if we come to the first one, that mixture of a two solid is there, so what kind of a process we are going to use here? So here also condition is there, and on the basis of that we are going to use the different kind of a process. So either we are able to separate the two solid by using a suitable solvent, that is the first one is by using suitable solvent, either by adding a solvent to separate the two solid from each other, or we can use the sublimation process by which we are able to separate the two solid from each other. And finally, either by using a magnet, with the help of the magnet also we are able to separate them from each other. So by using a magnet. Okay, so by using a suitable solvent, by using a sublimation process, or by using a magnet. So these are the three different types of a process that we can use to separate the two mixtures of the solid from each other. Okay, so let us start and try to understand that when we are going to use the suitable solvent, when we are going to use the sublimation, when we are going to use the magnet. So let us start with the first one, that is by using the suitable solvent. So this we will, by using a suitable solvent. Why we are adding solvent? You know that a solute and a solvent is always there to make a solution. And here, whenever you are using a solvent, it means we are using such kind of a solvent in which one of the two solid is dissolved. If we have taken two solid, suppose we have taken sand and sugar, and we want to separate both of them from each other. How you are going to separate them? By adding water in it. So we can say that when you add water, out of these two solid, one of the solid will get easily dissolved in it. So we can say that the meaning of using a suitable solvent means one of the solvent will be able to dissolve the solid which is present in this mixture. So one of the solid will get dissolved in the solvent. Okay, so we can write it that one constituent mixture is soluble in a particular liquid in a particular liquid solvent, whereas other do not dissolve in the same liquid. So you should use that particular liquid in which out of the two solid only one will be able to dissolve, the other one do not get dissolved. Okay, so one get dissolved, other do not get dissolved. Okay, so on the basis of the difference in the solubility, we are able to separate the two solid. So by using a suitable solvent means we are going to use one of the solvent, any of a solvent in which out of these two solid, one solid will dissolve in it, the other solid it do not get dissolved in it. So by the difference of the solubility, we are able to separate them from each other. Okay, so we can write it. Difference in the solubility, difference in the solubility of the constituent solubility of the constituent of a mixture, can be used to separate them. Okay, so we can say here students that the difference in the solubility of the constituent will help them to distinguish from each other. We can understand them with the help of an example. Right now I had taken an example, and that is sand and water. So you see students, we can take an example in which sand and salt. Now you see here, sand is also solid and salt is also solid. So here two solids should be distinguished from each other, should be separated from each other. How we are able to separate them from each other? So first of all, you will add water in it. So the suitable solvent that we are going to use here to dissolve in it, that is water. Okay, so when you add water, what will happen? The salt will get dissolved in the water, but the sand will not going to dissolve in water. So you will add the sand and salt in the water, salt will dissolve in it. Now with the help of the filter paper, you will separate them. So on the filter paper, the sand will be present there in the form of a residue, but this salt which dissolve in the water will passes through the filter paper and remain as a filtrate. Now even then also, if you want to separate the salt and water also, simply you have to evaporate them. The water will evaporate and the salt will remain. So by this you can see that we are able to separate the sand from that of the salt. Okay, so we can write it that add water so that salt will dissolve in it. Salt will remain dissolved in it. Now salt is dissolved in it. With the help of the filter paper, filter the sand which remain on the filter paper, on the filter paper as a residue. Okay, while the salt and water will remain as filtrate. Okay, so you can see here students that one of them dissolve in the water, other do not. So by the process of this we are able to separate the sand from that of the salt easily. Okay, so we by using the suitable solvent, the first example is using the sand and salt. Any other example is there, student? Yes, we can take an example of a mixture of a sulfur and sand. Okay, so we can write it. Mixture of sulfur and sand. Now you see here student, you will find that here the sulfur is what in which this here the sulfur as well as sand both cannot be separated with the help of the water, because water does not means the sulfur does not dissolve in the water as well as the sand does not dissolve in the water. Now you see here that before that maybe we are thinking that the water is the only suitable solvent in which all the things dissolve, but you know that it is not like that. So which suitable solvent which we are going to use here to separate the sulfur from the sand? So we are knowing when we were talking in case of the mixture also, so we have seen that the sulfur will easily get dissolved in the carbon disulfide, but sand do not. So here the liquid, the solvent that we are going to use to separate the mixture of sand and sulfur from each other, it is addition of the carbon disulfide. So we can write it both sand and sulfur do not get dissolves in the water. So the suitable solvent that we are going to use here is carbon disulfide. Okay, so the suitable solvent that we are going to use here is carbon disulfide. Here the sulfur get easily dissolved in that of the carbon disulfide. Okay, so we can say that here the sulfur gets easily dissolved in carbon disulfide, but sand does not. Okay, Okay, so we can say that how can we separate the mixture of the sulfur and that of the sand from each other, student? By using a suitable solvent, and that particular suitable solvent is the carbon disulfide. So by using the carbon disulfide, we are able to separate the sulfur and sand from each other. Now the question is that what about the other one? If suppose we have using here such kind of a thing which is one is soluble in the other and then other one is not soluble at all. What happen if suppose we will use the two solid which are soluble in a common solvent, that is water. Mixture of salt and sugar. Now you see here, student, if we talk about the water, so salt is dissolved in water as well as sugar also dissolved in water. Both of them easily get dissolved in the water. So how we are able to separate both of them? So we have to choose that particular solvent in which one of the component do not dissolve. So we are knowing that the water is the common solvent in which both of them get dissolved. So it is alcohol. So in alcohol, sugar dissolve, but salt do not dissolve. Okay. So instead of using here water, we are going to use alcohol. So we can write it. In this case, both of the solid that is salt and sugar gets easily dissolved in water. Okay, so it get easily dissolved in water. So we have to use such kind of solvent in which only one can easily dissolve. So alcohol is a solvent used, since here in alcohol sugar gets easily dissolved while the salt does not. Okay, so here in alcohol, if we will use students, so we should know that in alcohol sugar get easily dissolved but the salt does not. So here the suitable solvent that we are going to use to separate the sugar from the sand is alcohol, which is used for separating the sugar and salt from each other. So salt is insoluble. Salt is insoluble in alcohol. Okay, so one is the soluble one, another one is the insoluble. So this is the method. These are the different kind of a method, student, by which we are able to separate the two solids from each other. So in the first case, we will use the universal solvent, students, that water. So if we have taken the two solids, and the two solids, they are, you can say that these two solids, if one of them is there in which water, if we add into the water, it will get dissolved in the water. We will use the water at that moment when out of the two, one get dissolved but other remain insoluble in water. So at that time we will use water to separate both of them. If it is like that in which they cannot be separated with the help of the water, so we will use the non-aqueous solvent, like using carbon disulfide, in which the sulfur get easily dissolved but the other, that is sand, do not get dissolved. So instead of using water, we are going to prefer the carbon disulfide. And here if the component in which both of them get easily dissolved in the water, so we should use such kind of a solvent in which one of the solid will get dissolved in the water, dissolved in the non-aqueous solvent, and other do not. So instead using water, we can use here alcohol, in which sugar get easily dissolved in it but salt does not. Okay.